Well, good day viewers, welcome to the channel. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, New South Wales, Australia. We're down in a place called Kingsford in Sydney. We're doing some brickwork, loving life. Always thinking though about relationships and how they work and what happens in them. Many of you have been in relationships where covert emotional incest has undermined it. You haven't been aware of what it is, and you haven't been aware of what happens and how it works. The first sign that you'll question yourself about is, am I jealous of these children? Now, jealousy's something that works on the emotional level and the physical level. If somebody's taking emotional input from you out of the partner in the relationship, that can be a means of jealousy, but not if it's on a maternal level. If the parent's got every right to parent their children, and I don't think anybody's got any right to interfere in a parent's maternal relationship with their children with parent. But covert emotional incest is a whole different level. You'll feel like something's not right. Something's going on that's just not right. You'll feel it's an intrusion into the space of your relationship. Be you a girl with one of these golden child boys or mummy's boys, or you with the parent. And you'll see this connection that's way beyond maternal. And your head will swim. You'll start to question yourself and wonder, should you say anything? You'll see that if you're with the parent, as in my case, the child will start to intrude, or adult children will start to intrude into your space and try and take over your spot in the relationship, which is really hard to imagine, but it happens all the time. Some of you ladies are with fathers and the daughters are driving you around the bend. Some of you young ladies are with men and the mother's driving you around the bend. Some of you guys are with young Sheilas and the father's driving you around the bend. You've got to be able to discern whether this is genuine maternal care and welfare, or just straight out intrusion. If it's an intrusion not based on maternal duty of care and stuff like this, that's covert emotional incest. It will drain you, it will program you, it will condition you. Sam Vaknin, professor of psychology, calls it entraining. Entraining's when it's like you plug the USB of a computer or the power thing into your phone, and that person's plan for your conditioning starts to program you. And they're trying to get you to come into line with the covert emotional incest arrangement. And this is when you start to get puzzled. This is when you start to wonder what's going on. You're going, hang on a sec, I'm just trying to have a relationship with this person. But there's all this other stuff going on around it that is attributing itself to being with that person. But it has nothing to do with you being with that person. It violates your transparency and openness and willingness to be with this person, because now you're being exposed to their involvement, their covert emotional incestual involvement with their child or children. And whilst you're watching all this, your partner's trying to entrain you, condition you, program you to allow this to be part of the relationship. You've got to make it, they're trying to make you sacrifice a part of the relationship that you need from the covert emotional incest partner. The sacrifice is to allow that part of the relationship to be cut away and continue to supply the covert or have input into the covert emotional incest relationship. Because the covert emotional incest relationship's violated by the third person coming in to share or attempt to share in a relationship with the parent or child. And you have to cater to the importance of the emotional needs that these two people have for each other, which is equivalent to you being in the relationship. So there's a parallelism, you're running parallel with the covert emotional incest, but slightly underneath. And that'll change. If the parent, if you're with the, like I was with the female parents, if they want you, they'll allow you to come up above it, but then you'll slide back under it. And it's a constant, let's say, pendulum type thing, where the pendulum cuts you away so the covert emotional incest can have its way, and then the pendulum rises back up so that you can play your part in it. But the default by DNA and by way of the nature of the relationship that these people have had long before you come along, will have favour in the end. It's like being involved in a cult. I can remember we used, and I still do, rehabilitate cult members, and they pedestalize the cult above their own conscious red lights and warnings, red flags and warnings. Something's not right, but they go into this state where they ignore the deception, and the cult wins. Some people never recover from cult involvement. Did you know that? They never find themselves, they never come back to themselves, because they've pushed down their cognitive standards to a place which is called cognitive dissonance. They're just not cognitive. And this is what covert emotional incest does. I can remember my partner and I watching this take place. She journeyed alongside me, and I said, this is where this is headed. And sure enough, it blew up. Because covert emotional incest, in the end, if you're looking like you could be a substantial partner to either the adult child or the parent, covert emotional incest will come in and assassinate the integrity of the bond that you have with that person. The covert emotional incest will psychologically drive the jealous or connected partner in, again, with the pendulum, to try and cut you away from, again, the parent or the adult child. It's vicious, it's malicious, you'll be accused, you'll be condemned. They'll be the judge, jury and executioner of apparently who you are. In my last two instances, one was a marriage, my son, because I was trying to navigate these people on my own, my daughters and my sons come in just to see. I said, you need to come in and check if I'm going mad or not, just to see what was going on, and it was atrocious. They were mortified by the behaviour of these people. One in the marriage, the daughter went into a vendetta because she got called out on chasing other men outside of marriage on the internet. We're Christian people. We just want to do the right thing and have peace, you know. But you're not going to with covert emotional incest. Covert emotional incest is going to attack you. It's going to assassinate your character. It's going to try and psychologically execution you. And the funny part about it is, the disturbing part about it for me was, I could see that the women loved me. They really loved me, and I loved them as well, but they couldn't find a way of overcoming the bind that they created, disloyalty bind it's called, because it's disloyal to the relationship, but it's loyal to the covert emotional incest. They couldn't find a way to moderate the relationship with their children, adult children, and themselves and the relationship. And one medicated, and the other one, you could see the meds going up, and the other one had habits, and I saw them go up right at the end. And I think the one at the end was trying to make a run for our relationship to work, but she did it in a way in which it was all about trying to get on with the sons. But I didn't, in the end, I didn't want to. My advisors said it's probably not best to. They just don't like men. So the cost of it all, I don't know what happens to. I know that one woman ended up having some very serious mental and physical problems. The sons had those anyway. The last time I saw my ex-wife, she was at the psychologist, the psychiatrist with the son. She wasn't well. She had some serious operations. Her mental health was down, and she'd put on weight and looked terrible. They end up isolating. They try and meet other people, and it goes skew-whiff on them. It's because when you're with somebody and they're actually trying to have a proper relationship with you, and covert emotional incest's got a way of assassinating everything and everyone in its path. It does have diabolical mental health effects and physical consequences on the people that are in it and connected to it. It's not a game, it's not a joke. It can be driven by, as a Christian minister and somebody that has cast demons out of people, don't mind about that part of my life. It can be demonically driven, and when it's been exposed and the parent knows that there's a need to resolve, you'll see them trying to come out and fix it, but they can't, because they've created a monster. They've created monsters in their children that physically are off the breast, but spiritually are still suckling the mother's spiritual breast, as it were, which puts the incestual whole aspect of it, the whole psychological incestual part on it. In some cases it does go physical as well, but not that I was aware of. So from my experience, I've never seen one of these parents escape it. I've seen the damage that it does to them and their adult children. And I know the damage that it can do to the people that are involved with these people. Number one, you'll think you're jealous, but you're not. That's the first warning sign. Number two, you'll see, if you're the young partner with one of these adult children, or the adult partner with one of these adults, you'll see the intrusion coming in against the relationship, and it's deliberate and it's desperate, and it wants to get authority over the relationship. Number 3, you'll see your partner will go along with the covert emotional incest unless you step in. Number 4, they will moderate, but not enough to escape the covert emotional incest because the other side won't let them, be it the parent or the adult child. And then you'll see what'll happen is the adult parent or the adult child will start to they'll feign mental health problems, physical problems. Even I've seen 21-year-old adults urinate themselves to get their mother's urgent attention back onto them. I've seen adult males deliberately come in on date night and have what's supposed to be anti-suicidal talks, but they're not. It's attention grabbing. I've seen these mothers walking on eggshells thinking that these people are going to commit suicide, but it's demonic and manipulative. And my advice is, if you do have somebody that's threatening to commit suicide, send them to the professionals and that'll sort out whether they're a fair income or not. And I've seen people go to all sorts of lengths to undermine the lives of the people that are trying to love these ones inside the covert emotional incest relationship. It's dangerous, it's vicious, it's relentless, it has no mercy on the people that it's trying to remove out of its way. Usually the adult or child or the parent will default back to the covert emotional incest. These people are victims, so they start off a victim and they end up the victim, which is the crescendo to their persona. You have to realize this, you have to understand this, and as you're going through this journey, because it unfolds as you're going along, you just have to accept it. To whether they want to accept it or not, you've been duped. If you know you can know what it is, you can call it out. They won't thank you at first, but they will later, because they're ruining their lives, they're ruining their children's lives, and they're ruining the lives of the people that come into their presence. They can admit it, they can deny it, but if you know what covert emotional incest is and it's attacked you and you've called it out, you've done those people a favour, because it's up to them then to either go further into it and emotionally lust each other and fulfill each other's lusts in that respect, and possibly even go into physical incest, or say to themselves, this is going to mess our lives up and we need to sort this out, create some healthy boundaries and move on, probably hopefully in the next relationship in a healthier and more constructive way. But that's their problem. You worry about yourself. Identify it, process it, allow yourself time to heal, accept it, you've been duped, and become a better person for it, and help people that you know might be getting traumatized by it. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, bye for now.